fly away.
Welcome to Williamson County Public Library. I'm Don Swartz, Southern Trace Songwriters, and I've got a dear friend of mine here tonight. I can't wait to hear his music. It's been a while, and of course everybody's slowed down a little bit with COVID, but we're about to crank it up here tonight. So anyway, without further ado, my dear friend, Mr. Don Miller, better known in the industry as Poobah, and he'll explain some of that to you later. Appreciate it. Give him a big hand, folks.
Thank you. This is a song that I wrote on this guitar. I got this guitar from a friend of mine named Costas, who was a big hit songwriter. And I got it traded with some Johnny Cash memorabilia from a girl named Rosie, his daughter, Rosie Carter. And she got this guitar for me. And so I wrote her a song. It's called Rosie. Rosie had a lot of friends back in school. Rosie started smoking 'cause it was cool. Rosie had a daddy she could never live up to. Her tiny little footprints couldn't fill those big old shoes. So Rosie started searching for the sunshine, and all she gets is tiny bits and silver lines. And since the day that she was born, she's been climbing thorns to be Rosie. Right now, Rosie's probably waiting by the phone, but she won't get a ring, and she's all alone. There's only one simple reason she's still hanging on, and who knows how long till it's gone. But Rosie's out there searching for the sunshine, and all she gets is tiny bits of silver lines. And since the day that she was born, she's been climbing thorns to be Rosie. Since the day that she was born, she's been climbing thorns to be Rosie. All right, thank you very much. You know, when I was a kid in Nashville, my mother would let me go downtown to the barber college and get me a flat top haircut and a John Wayne movie at the Tennessee Theater, you know. And downtown there's an arcade that goes from one city block to the other, you know. And on my way home from the barber shop and the movie, I'd have to catch a bus right down there. And there was this old guy. He'd play the blues. He would sing the blues. He sold pencils and combs, and he would he'd sing kind of gospel-y blues songs, you know. And so I thought he was scamming. I was a kid, and I thought, man, this guy ain't blind. So one day I got one of those little slugs out of those electric boxes that look like nickels. And he had like a little cup there and tied to the neck of his guitar, you know. And so I walked by and kind of flip it in there. And he went, that don't sound like no silver to me. I said, I knowed you was scamming. You can see. He said, who is that? So I told him we got to be friends. And I had a job at Western Union, and I was delivering telegrams around town, and I'd see him quite a bit. And I got to thinking about him after I got grown, and I wrote him a song called Cortia. I'll play it for you. The old blind man sang the gospel in front of Harvey's department store. He had an old tin cup tied to his guitar, and I'd pitch in a nickel, and when he'd hear it ring, Cortia would say, God bless you, and this song he would sing. Said, I wanna go to heaven, I wanna walk those streets of gold. Got a mansion waiting for me when Jesus calls me home. A shirt pocket full of pencils and a shoebox full of combs. The cold streets of Nashville, Cortia called home. Newspaper for his blanket, his pillow was a stone. But he'd always count his blessings and leave you with a song. Said, I wanna go to heaven, I wanna walk those streets of gold. Got a mansion waiting for me when Jesus calls me home. On the last page of the paper, next to the obituaries, I read about a homeless person who had froze under death. I guess Jesus showed his mercy that cold December night. From a world of frozen darkness, old Cortia saw the light. Now he's gone to heaven. He's walking on those streets of gold. Got his mansion waiting for him, 'cause Jesus called him home. All right. Thank you. Notice I did that in the wrong key, but I think I pulled it off. You know, I've been blessed to be raised in Nashville, I guess, around a lot of great songwriters and singers that I've got to hang out with and learn from. And I had a friend of mine named Billy Stone. He was a songwriter, and you knew Billy. He come up from Texas. He was a Texas boy. And me and him wrote a lot of songs. And here's one about the history of country music me and him wrote, called Guitars, Banjos, Fiddles, and Steel. Play that for you. Well, it was born in the mountains, come down from the hills. It's guitars and banjos, fiddles and steel. It's people are singing about everyday life. And it's the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night. It's AP and Sarah and Mother Maybelle, Jimmy Rogers, Blue Yodels, all them stories they tell. It's old Hank and Lefty singing three-quarter time. It's Loretta and Dolly, Patsy Cline. It's Bill Monroe and Roy Acuff and Ernest Tubb, Bob Wills, Texas Playboys, Faded Love. It's George Jones and Willie, Merle Haggard too, still singing the working man's blues. It's Johnny Cash and Waylon. Uh-oh, can we cut that? Because I messed up. I better do this in the right keys because I'm messing up, honey. Can we stop that and redo it, honey? I'm sorry. You can edit, right? All right, let me do this in another key. You know, you don't do these songs, you'll forget them, you know. We'll try it again. Johnny Cash? Johnny Cash? Ah, I went to E. Okay. Sorry. All right, we'll do it again. Well, it was born in the mountains, come down from the hills. It's guitars and banjos, fiddles and steel. People are singing about everyday life. And it's the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday night. It's AP and Sarah and Mother Maybelle, Jimmy Rogers, Blue Yodels, all those stories they tell. It's old Hank and Lefty singing three-quarter time. It's Loretta and Dolly, Patsy Cline. Bill Monroe and Roy Acuff, the Master Fred Rose, songwriters whose names you don't even know. So many stars shining so bright, and they're shining on us tonight. So tonight we'll remember the ones who've gone on, honor the ones that carry it on, and thank them for letting us all sing along to the words of a country song. Well, it was born in the mountains, come down from the hills. It's guitars and banjos, fiddles and steel. Thank you, thank you. You know, some people, they know what they want to do in life right off the bat. They start young and get it right, you know, all the way. But I never knew I was going to be a songwriter until after I was grown. Well, actually, Dale, my brother Dale Jackson here, he was from Texas. He moved up with Freddie Joe and B Spears and Billy Joe Schaefer's and I got to hang out with all them kind of guys. But I never knew I could be a songwriter until I got to hanging out with them guys, and I went, well, I can do that. Or I think I can anyway. So I started writing songs. And, this is one of the first songs I ever wrote. was called Cross Ties and White Whiskey. Yeah, and there was an old guy, his wife named Blanche. His name was, we called him Old Man Sweeney. And I seen him out in the yard one day, and I walked across the street and talked to him. I said, "How you doing, Sweeney?" He said, "Well, I ain't doing worth a damn. How you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm doing a little better than that." I said, "I'm sorry, guy. What's the matter?" He said, "I'm going in for surgery tomorrow, and they give me an 80% chance." And I went, "Well, 80%'s good." I said, he said, "That's a knot coming off the operating table." I went, "Oh." I said, "Well, Sweeney, you're tougher than a pine knot." I said, "You'll make it." I said, "Is there anything I can do for you?" He said, "Well, if you see Blanche carrying them buckets up the hill," he said, "I appreciate you helping her." And I said, "Well, y'all don't have to tote water no more." I said, "I'll help her. That's if I ever see her in a bind." And he commenced to telling me this story about how it was in 1935. That was the hardest year he ever had. And he said there was only two ways to make a living up there in Ridgetop. He said, you either cut cross ties for the railroad or you made whiskey. And he said, I was just too little to cut cross ties. It was about Kimmy. He said, so I worked there long enough to get some money, and I beat me out of steel, and I started making whiskey. He said, no, don't tell nobody. And I said, well, mum's the word, Sweeney. And, I said, you're about 90 now. So I said, most of them are probably already gone. But anyway, I walked back across the street, and a friend of mine, Freddie Fletcher, was there, and we sat down and pounded this song out. It's called Cross Ties and White Whiskey. Well, this old hill has changed, old man Sweeney said to me. Moved here in the 20s, all we had was wood for heat. It's back when $1 bought all you need to buy. We cut cross ties and made white whiskey on this hill in 35. Smoke would drip the hollers, and corn was in the fields. And you could always tell a stranger by the sound of his automobile. Was a time when a man knew better than to pry. We cut cross ties and made white whiskey on this hill in 35. And while the railroads bought the timber to keep on making tracks, we were buying copper, turning corn into mash. Revenuers never knew they'd be coming out alive. It was cross ties and white whiskey on this hill in 35. The railroad tracks have all been laid and my shining days are through. Me and Blanche keep living about all that's left to do. Oh, all the times have changed, he said, as a tear left his eye. It was cross ties and white whiskey on this hill in 35. And while the railroads bought the timber, keep on making tracks, we were buying copper, turning corn into mash. Revenuers never knew they'd be coming out alive. It was cross ties and white whiskey on this hill in 35. Boys, it was cross ties and white whiskey on this hill in 35. All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, let me tune this up one more time. I did write that. I don't. Did I write it or just make it up? The guy told Roger Miller one time. He said, "Did you write that or just make it up?" He said, "I just made it up." He said, "Well, when did you make it up?" He said, "Buddy, while I was singing that other one." That's funny, ain't it? All right. I wrote this song. It's a gospel song. And it's called Born on a Mountain, which I wasn't born on a mountain, but I was born at the bottom of one. But anyway, it's my girlfriend really likes this song, so I'm going to play it for her. This is for Janita. She told me to. So I'm going to do Born on a Mountain. Well, I was born on a mountain. I've always been close to the sky. I was born on a mountain, Lord. I've always been close to the sky. When I get above these trees, you know where I'm gonna fly. When whispering like your voice, are you calling my name? When whispering like your voice, Lord, are you calling my name? Have you got another plan for me? Is it gonna be a change? I know the sun is shining just above the clouds. And when I get above these trees, that's where I'm gonna fly. I was born on a mountain. I've always been close to the sky. I was born on a mountain, Lord. I've always been close to the sky. When I get above these trees, you know where I'm gonna fly. And I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Whoa, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Now when I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. All right, thank you. With a little help from Mal Brumley there. Well, let's see. Here's a little blues song. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. All I do know is that I'm crazy in love with you. You're leaving, it's leaving me colder than blue. Now the sun don't shine like before, and my heart don't wanna beat anymore. You're leaving, it's leaving me colder, colder than blue. A part of me died when I found out you lied. It was such a surprise that I froze inside. You're leaving, it's leaving me colder, colder than blue. Baby, someday love's gonna walk out on you. You'll be feeling just what you put me through as he's leaving, leaving you colder, colder than blue. A part of you will die when you find out he lied. It'll be such a surprise that you'll freeze inside as he's leaving, leaving you colder, as he's leaving, leaving you colder. Like you're leaving, it's leaving me colder, colder than blue. All right. Thank you. Mr. Rogie Ray LaMontagne on harp. One time I had a friend of mine, well, I don't know if we'll do this song or not. It's called I Don't Call 911. He had a shirt that said, I don't call 911. And he had half a pistol. When he tucked it in his pants, it looked like he had a gun in his pants, you know. And I said, well, that sounds like a song, Tommy. So this is what I came up with. It's called I Don't Call 911. Well, I was raised in the backwoods of Tennessee. My papa drank whiskey and I smoked weed. We lived by the cold of the hills. Apple night, blood is spilled. Doing to others, she shall be done. I don't call 911. My pappy taught me early to protect myself, not depend on no one else. And I know the difference between right and wrong, and tradition is as strong as the law. It's been handed down from father to son. I don't call 911. Now I'm a peaceful man, I wouldn't hurt a soul. But let me tell you a little something everybody should know. Don't harm a hair on my wife or my kids. And don't let me catch you slipping in and out my crib. And it make me go grab my gun. And son, I don't call 911. I don't call 911. I don't call 911. Thank you. I had a good friend of mine named Merle Kilgore, he was a famous guy. They called him the Senator. He was a sweetheart. Well, he loved my music, you know, and he signed me about 6 months before he passed away, you know. And so he had a song he had been writing on called Cry Baby Holler. And he asked me, he said, take this song, there's something wrong with it, and see if you can fix it, you know. And so I listened to it, and I changed a few words, not much, but I really love singing it, and it's called Cry Baby Holler. It's on my album, too. Now, would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Would you run, bet you $1? Would you leave a piece of candy for the baby in the holler? Would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Well, the story's old, many years ago, in the days of horse and wagon. Family moving slow with a wagon load at night started down the holler. The furniture was packed and the kids wrapped in sacks, covered them from the cold. But a bump from the wheel threw the baby down the hill, and it was lost deep in the holler. Well, they searched all night to the morning light, but the baby could not be found. Oh, the years have gone by, but the baby still cries at midnight. Cry baby holler. Now would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Would you run, bet you $1? Would you leave a piece of candy for the baby in the holler? Would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Now the kids come around when the sun goes down, and they wait for the haunting hour. Then they walk down the hill, get real still, listen for the baby cry in the holler. Now if you go up Lake Mountain, look for the water tower and the crooked little road that everybody knows it leads through Cry Baby Holler. Now would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Would you run, bet you $1? Would you leave a piece of candy for the baby in the holler? Would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Now would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Would you run, bet you $1? Would you leave a piece of candy for the baby in the holler? Would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Now would you leave a piece of candy for the baby in the holler? Would you walk through Cry Baby Holler? Thank you. Well, let's see. I wrote this song on the way home from Johnny Cash's funeral. I was playing down in Georgia at the time, and when I found out they were going to bury him, it was like that morning. So I had to do my gig and then take off and drive all night. You know, when I got there, I got there late, and they was already at the graveside, and so I didn't have time to change. I probably should have overalls. You know? So I walked on up to the grave, and I got in behind Al and Tipper Gore. They were singing "With a Circle Be Unbroken." And I started singing "With a Circle Be Unbroken," you know, and I turned around, and when I turned around, there was like 4 security cops around me. And I guess they were protecting Al and what her name is, Al and Tipper. But anyway, one of them said, "You need to leave." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What for?" And that guy looked at me and said, "You ain't got a coat and tie on. You got overalls." And so the lady that he left in charge of his last wishes, she's a friend of mine. And so she come over and asked me what was going on. She seen him hassling me. And I said, "Was John mad at me?" She said, "No, he loved you. What's going on?" I said, "Well, they just asked me to leave." And she said, "What for?" And I said, "That nurse said I didn't have over. Said I didn't have a suit and tie on." And boy, she jumped him, you know. She said, "Hey, you need to leave people alone." She said, "This is a personal friend of his, songwriting friend of his." She said, "I don't know who you guys are, but y'all need to leave people alone." And I was mad. I was going to take off. I said, "Hell, I'm out of here," you know. And but anyway, she said, "No, you go back up there and sing for your friend with the circle being broken with the rest of them." So I did. And I swear, I think John gave me this song on the way home. It's called "Everybody's Saint." And I had it wrote the time I got to the house. So. I was on the road when I heard the news. Old friend Johnny sang his last tune. So I drove all night just to get there late. And I walked straight up to his grave. And everybody sang, "Will the circle be unbroken?" And everybody sang, "Will the circle be unbroken?" And everybody sang. Well, let me be first one to say, I wish it never happened this way. Lost circled me, told me goodbye, said I wasn't wearing no coat and tie. The Katie came to my rescue, told the cops to back off, that I was cool. And everybody sang, "Will the circle be unbroken?" And everybody sang, "Will the circle be unbroken?" Everybody sang. With bitter tears, here I stand, saying goodbye to a famous friend. But I had to smile, 'cause I thought of you. You know the show goes on up in heaven too. And everybody sang, "Will the circle be unbroken?" And everybody sang, of the circle, be unbroken. And everybody sang. Everybody sang. Everybody sang. Everybody sang. Thank you, thank you. I'll never do this song. I'm gonna do it in honor of John. Well, I'd walk for miles just to see you. You wouldn't cross the street to say hello. Whoever loves the least will be the one who's in control. You know I love happy endings. This is gonna end sad. When you love somebody that won't love you back. They say people are the only ones that won't respond to love. No matter how hard you try, you can't change how they feel inside. You know I love happy endings. This is gonna end sad. When you love somebody that won't love you back. When you love somebody that won't love you back. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it. You want to do one, right? You want to do porcupine pie? Oh yeah. You might as well get it. You got the wind in you?
No, but I'll sing one.
Oh, well, let's sing one.
Let me sing.
Ray LaMontagne, singer.
Is about my age. Gets up in the morning when the sun comes up, drinks his coffee in his pickup truck on his way to a 6 to 5 just to stay alive, going nowhere down. And you can tell he's a working man by his worn-out boots and his calloused hands, and by the way he drives, like a wild man trying to beat that clock, just talking to himself, talking to himself. Whatever happened to the good old days, when an honest day's work paid an honest day's pay? People took pride in the job they done. It went from mother to daughter, father to son. The economy was weak back then, but families were strong. Oh, but somewhere along the way, things got all turned around. Good God, Lord Almighty, what in hell have we done? People used to take pride in their neighborhood, always help a neighbor every chance they could. But those days are gone, long gone, and it don't seem right. Seem like the rich are getting richer, poor stay poor, Ain't no such thing as middle class anymore. And at the end of the tunnel, the only light is a candle burning for a young man's life. Whatever happened to the good old days when an honest day's work paid an honest day's pay? People took pride in the job they'd done. It went from mother to daughter, father to son. The economy was weak back then, but families were strong. Oh, but somewhere along the way, things got all turned around. Oh, good God, Lord Almighty, what the hell have you done? I was raised to respect the president and all that he stood for and all that he meant. Eisenhower was in power and he ruled with an iron hand. That all died with Kennedy, along with respect and dignity. The eyes of justice are truly blind if they can't see what this government is doing to working folk like you and me. Whatever happened to the good old days when an honest day's work paid an honest day's pay? People took pride in the job they'd done. It went from mother to daughter, father to son. The economy was weak back then, but families were strong. Oh, but somewhere along the way, things got all turned around. Good God, Lord Almighty, what in the hell have we done? Oh, good God, Lord Almighty, what the hell have we done? Thank you.
That's a new one. He's been writing.
Yeah, we're writing.
He's been writing. That's good. Raymond. Cool. Well, let's see. I'm gonna do a little fast song, a comedy song after that.
All right. Oh, you know, we ain't done Shadow and Shade either.
Well, we ain't done that either, yeah.
My favorite song.
Right, we ain't done nothing. All right. We got plenty of songs. All right.
I always thought you wrote 911 after him.
I don't call 911. Yeah. Yeah, that's a. He might have inspired that. This song's about motivation. It's a motivational song. I had some folks ask me to write one. I said, well, I've never wrote a motivational song. But this was kind of what came out. Now, people's always griping about the things that they ain't got. Blaming everybody but themselves for sinking like a rock. You know, life is like a foot race, but if you always finish last, you know the fastest way to get on your feet is to get up off of your. Ooh, get up, get up. The world's still spinning round. Get up, get up, and don't let it get you down. It don't take no rocket scientist or the smartest kid in class to know the fastest way to get on your feet is to get up off of your. My daddy, he once told me, boy, the world's gonna pass you by. You'll wake up soon one morning, son, and look back on your life. Now, if you don't like what you're seeing in that broken looking glass, you know the fastest way to get on your feet is to get up off of your. Ooh, get up, get up. The world's still spinning round. Get up, and don't let it get you down. It don't take no rocket scientist or the smartest kid in class to know the fastest way to get on your feet is to get up off of your. Ooh, the fastest way to get on your feet is to get up off of your butt. Thank you. The road that I'm walking won't take me there. Without you beside me, it's going nowhere. You're the light that guides me through my darkest day. Long as I've got a shadow, you've got shade. So dance real close to me and hold me tight. I want to whisper in your ear what I almost forgot. I still remember the promise I made. Long as I've got a shadow, you've got shade. As long as there's tomorrow and give and take, as long as there's forgiveness and making mistakes, as long as there's forever in the plans that we make, long as I've got a shadow, you've got shade. So dance real close to me and hold me tight. I want to whisper in your ear what I almost forgot. I still remember the promise I made. Long as I've got a shadow, you've got shade. Now I still remember the promise I made. Long as I've got a shadow, you got shade. Thank you. Thank you. When I was a kid, we'd go see my grandma, you know, and she lived way out in the woods, and they grew everything they had to eat. You know, they didn't go buy nothing but maybe flour and coffee and a little sugar.
Kind of like Dale.
Kind of like Dale. Yeah, Dale used to. And so when I'd go, my grandma, she would send me to church, first of all. And one of her sister's boys was a preacher, you know, so she would tell on me. She told all the bad things, too, because he would hellfire and brimstone me all the way through church, you know. But what was bad, it wasn't that much, but what was bad was that he'd follow us home. And my grandma would go out in the backyard, she'd get a chicken and pluck it and have it fried in 30 minutes, you know, and they had those big old Chinese platters with them little peacocks on them and stuff, you know, them blue ones. And I'd always watch because the preacher got the big piece of chicken. We got wings and backs and necks and legs, and we never got a breast. And I got to thinking about that after I got grown, and I got with a friend of mine, Billy Stone, and we wrote this song called Heaven's a Piece of Chicken and Hell's a Plate of Bones. Well, Grandma'd pluck a chicken after Sunday, go to meat, cook a southern country fried, mashed potatoes on the side. And boy, it sure smelled good, like that preacher knew it would. 'Cause he'd eyeball the biggest piece just before he'd say grace. And he'd come around every Sunday, all that preaching made him hungry. He'd whet his appetite on hellfire and brimstone. But he taught me about salvation, eternal damnation. Heaven's a piece of chicken, hell's a plate of bones. Well, I was just a towhead kid, not more than 5 years old. Knew nothing about salvation, didn't worry about my soul. Didn't care much for that preacher, 'cause I knew when he'd say grace, soon as he shouted out amen, he'd grab that biggest piece. And he'd come around every Sunday, all that preaching made him hungry. He'd whet his appetite on hellfire and brimstone. But he taught me about salvation, eternal damnation. Heaven's a piece of chicken, hell's a plate of bones. Been a month of Sunday dinners, but I still ain't forgot how good my grandma's cooking was. Served up nice and hot. I still got all my religion, and it's one thing that I know. Heaven's a piece of chicken, hell's a plate of bones. And he come round every Sunday, all that preaching made him hungry. He'd whet his appetite on hellfire and brimstone. But he taught me about salvation, eternal damnation. Heaven's a piece of chicken, hell's a plate of bones. Heaven's a piece of chicken, Lord, and hell, it's just a big old plate of bones. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Oh, man. Well, I go down to the Guff a lot, or used to. I haven't been down there in a while. But every time I'd go, I'd write a Guff song, you know, as always. Here's one of those songs called The Redneck Riviera. I'm way overdue for some serious fun. Quick R&R, a week or two in the sun. I hop in the truck and I head for the beach. A cooler full of suds within easy reach. It ain't far to go, just to lower Alabama. I'm headed on down to the redneck Riviera. 'Cause I can hear the good times a calling me. Fishing in the sun and is what I need. Head for the gut to get some relief. I fell off of a pier, washed up on a beach. Well, the tide's going out, but I'm going in to Lulu's Lounge and meet up with my friends out on the boardwalk, flexing my pecs, stalking the babes with my hound dog Rex, a cheap cigar and a tacky sombrero. I'm dressed to kill here on the redneck Riviera. If I could hear the good times a calling me. Fishing in the sun and is what I need. Head for the Gulf to get some relief. I fell off of a pier, washed up on a beach. It's booze paradise, a poor man's dream. I know there's a condo awaiting for me. And when I come back, it'll be here to stay. 'Cause I love my southern friends and their rebel way. I might be a relic from a bygone era, but I'm sure having fun here on the redneck Riviera. 'Cause I can hear the good times a calling me. Fishing in the sun and is what I need. Head for the Gulf to get some relief. I fell off of a pier, washed up on a beach. Well, it ain't far to go, just to lower Alabama, a food's paradise, a redneck Riviera. Thank you. Well, what hadn't we done, Ray? Anything you want to hear?
You're the reason our kids are ugly. You're the reason our kids are ugly.
Oh, no, you don't want to hear that, do you? You're the reason our kids are ugly. All right.
And I want to dedicate it to my fourth ex-wife.
Boy, that's why. All right. Let's see. Let me tune this thing real fast. I got to tune it up. Can't do it like this. Close enough. You don't do these songs, you'll forget them. I met her in a dive up in Oklahoma in 1972. Couldn't see straight, didn't have my glasses. Wish I had it over to do. Now how could a handsome man be crazy enough to hook up with you? Your head is shaped like an Idaho potato. On your chest is a big tattoo. You're the reason that our kids are ugly. I must have been a drunken fool. You're the reason that our kids are ugly, and I blame it all on you. I take you everywhere that I go, honey, so I won't have to kiss you goodbye. I'd keep you tied out back of our two-room shack, but ugly you just can't hide. You're the reason that our kids are ugly. I must have been a drunken fool. You're the reason that our kids are ugly, and I blame it all on you. I looked up your family history. Your trading fork, it's true. Boo-hoo-hoo. You're the reason that our kids are ugly, and I blame it all on you. Thank you, thank you. Oh boy, there you go. All right. 2 more and we'll get her done. All right. Sure. All right. Wonder what 2 we should do, Ray. What do you think, Donnie? I got a what 2 should I do? Anyone I want?
Do the couch song.
Huh?
Thank you for believing in me.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do thank you for believing in me and
Where Did America Go?
Where Did America Go? I'll do that. All right. We'll do that. The old veteran shook his head in disbelief. Set up all to keep this country free. Oh, wait a minute. Let's do it again one more time. I better do these songs more often than. The old veteran shook his head in disbelief. Set up all to keep this country free. Now I'm homeless, live out on the street. Nobody who cares about me. He said, under these ragged old clothes is a battle-scarred body and soul. Son, even a blind man could see this country ain't what it used to be. He said, where did America go? I haven't seen her since before I went to war. It's a flame of liberty burning low. Tell me where did America go? As he slowly turned away to leave, on his face, tears I could see, and I'm haunted by his memory and the things that old soldier said to me. He said, where did America go? I haven't seen her since before I went to war. It's a flame of liberty burning low. Tell me where did America go? He said, where did America go? I haven't seen her since before I went to war. It's a flame of liberty burning low. Tell me where did America go? I feel forgotten and left out in the cold. Tell me where did America go? Thank you. All right, I'm gonna do one more. I wrote this song at a friend of mine's house. You know, when you're a songwriter and you're not well off, you sleep on a lot of people's couches. And I was on a friend of mine's couch one morning, and I wrote this song called Thank You for Believing in Me. If I was a big country star, I wouldn't be in this shape. I'd be out in California, playing on some big old stage, instead of sleeping on your couch in your living room, dirtying up your dishes and eat up all your food. Well, thank you for believing in me. Without you, who knows where I'd be? You're helping me on my mission to live out my dreams, and thank you for believing in me. Well, they say it's lonely at the top. Well, I say it's pretty damn lonely down here. And if I was a big country star, I wouldn't forget about my family and friends. Thank you for believing in me. Without you, who knows where I'd be? You're helping me on my mission to sing out my dreams, and thank you for believing in me. You're helping me on my mission to sing out my dreams, and thank you for believing in me. Hey, thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
I sure believe it, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
For sure. I just want to ask you a couple questions and kind of let the folks here understand a little bit about your history, for sure, in this industry. I heard you mentioned Merle a little bit earlier, and he signed you. What year was that?
What was it, 2000?
Was it 2000? I couldn't remember when I had met Merle years and years ago, but he actually, I think he wanted you to, the plan was for you to open for Hank Jr., was it not?
Well, yeah, that and some other acts that he had got together, you know, but he came down with cancer. It started in his back. He had a bad back act, and then come to find out it already spread everywhere.
Is that right? Well, I mean, I kind of sort of remember that.
Yeah, bless his heart. He believed in me a lot.
He sure, he was a fine man.
He was a wonderful man.
I think you told me, of course, I met Johnny Paycheck and all this years and years ago, but you hung around those guys, and just kind of give you a little bit of history on this gentleman here. He from Johnny Cash, of course, you heard him talking about June, and it's just we don't get to sit down and talk person to person like this very often with these folks, and just to show the love to them, because they've been so good to the industry and still got many years to go. I know. But again, I want to thank Williamson County Public Library, Jeff Nicholson for letting us come in here and set this up. Williamson County Public Television, thank you folks for coming in, and you young ones taking this up for us. And life's too short not to get out and enjoy it. We've had the last couple of years, as we all know, we've been kind of cooped up, and I've got a lot going on again. And I've got, got the KICR radio out of Branson we're working on right now, and now I'm part of Roger the Wild Child Show. I'm booking all the artists for that, and of course as well as Southern Trace Songwriters, which is my baby. And Poobah, I guess, do you have anything I need to do? Because I don't have enough on my plate.
Well, I can fill it up. I can get you busy.
Play bones, huh?
Yes.
All right, listen, I appreciate y'all coming out here
Yes. Thank you
very
everybody
much,
for coming.
and seriously, and we're, got a question, huh? Yes,
I was
Jeffrey.
just curious as what the name of Poobah's album is, since he mentioned it.
I have several. I have like 4 or 5 albums. I may have some. We got any with us?
I got some up here.
Oh, good. Well, we'll leave you with one. I have one's called Chattanooga Bound, and one's Thank You for Believing in Me. Here I Am, It's What I Do, and Random Acts of Bluegrass. I did a bluegrass album. I had these great bluegrass pickers. And, they said, well, that could be a bluegrass song. I said, well, let's make it a bluegrass song.
So you have a website too.
I do have a website. It's at donmillermusic.com, and I'm also on Facebook. You can look me up and befriend me, and I'd love to have everybody that likes my music come see me.
Absolutely. And again, I want to thank everyone for coming out. Have safe travels home, and we look forward to, we were planning on, which I'll think about this for a minute, but September 15th, there was planning on coming back in with some artists, and I actually have it lined up. The only thing going on with that is, and it's a rare opportunity, but I don't know, some of these young ones wouldn't understand it. Jason Sheff, for the band Chicago, was a dear friend of mine, and Jerry Sheff just came into town. His dad played bass for Elvis for all the years ago, was passed away. He was a bass player. And there's an opportunity on that very same evening that Generation Radio is going to be playing down in Columbia, and they've asked me to come down and kind of be part of. And again, we had it set up here to come in here, and I'm not sure that I still won't go with it. So I need a couple more days to do that, because I can go from here to Columbia. The show doesn't start till 8 o'clock, but Rascal Flatts, Jada Marcus is going to be in this. It's going to be at the Mule House, so if anyone is interested in that as well, that's what's going on in Columbia. But again, it's just typically how everything works. It's kind of slow mode, and then everything kind of pops. And I'm looking to go to Connecticut with some of my artists, and even I just got a call yesterday from Boise, Idaho. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So we'll see how this goes. But appreciate you all, and safe travels home. And as I always end the shows, I'm Don, I'm done. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Fly away.